Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Jamin's Daily. We are using Seth's mixer so we can get back to our solo Yahoo headlines episodes. So that's what we're going to bring to you today, right now. Let's get to it. We're looking here. We're going to try to find something interesting. We see the bill to create a new national holiday passes the Senate. New holidays. By unanimous consent, the Senate approved legislation designated June the 19th, Juneteenth, as a federal holiday. That's great. It's about time. You know, the more the merrier. Let's go on. I saw something here before we got on. We're going to be a little more selective. What I think I'm going to do on this episode, folks, is I'm going to do a lot more post editing. So I'm just going to I'm just going to go on, and then I'm going to splice in the good ones. Let's get into this one about the protests. There's protests, and this made like Good Morning America national news, where there's a black lady is in a bar, which identifies as an LGBT bar, and during Pride Month, and she gets accused of bringing liquor into the bar, so then she's getting kicked out. Don't know the whole story, but at some point the bouncers force her out and they drag her by her hair down the stairs, and then there's a big rumble goes on, and then now it's a big protest issue because protests continue outside of DC bar after a woman is dragged downstairs by her hair. Protests continue outside. So let's see. An apparent case of mistaken identity led security to physically assault a woman they believe broke the rules at Nellie's Bar, a popular LGBTQ club in the nation's capital. Nellie's Sports Bar, located in the Shaw neighborhood of Washington, D.C., is under fire after a video went viral showing a security guard dragging a black woman by her hair down a flight of stairs. Now, we can get into the whole thing, but let's get into the crux of the matter is this. So, let's say you're Nellie's Sports Bar and you have a security detail. I don't know what their hiring practices and who the guilty party is, but let's just say it's just some random security guard. I would imagine security at bars there's probably a lot of turnover, right? So you're getting guys, new people coming in. So who knows? Maybe this guy had been a bouncer there for a long time. But let's just say this guy started a couple weeks ago, and he takes it upon himself to do this because he thinks he's just doing his job. Hey, John, can you turn it down just a little bit? John! No, I was saying, if you turn it down just a little bit. My bad. I started so I got a buddy here. I got a contractor here I'm closing a wall in, guys, in my house. There was an extra, not closing a wall, closing a door. There was a door turning into a wall. Okay. Anyways, and I was going to have a guest today, but they had a reschedule. So the contractor, my buddy who's doing this for me, I had told him originally it was going to be at 7. But then when my guest called in to reschedule, then I had nothing to do. So I was, I'm just going to do a podcast right now. And he didn't know about it. So now he's over there singing, and it's interrupting the podcast. But here's the thing, guys. This bouncer takes it upon himself, pulls this girl down the stairs, whatever, The problem is that, okay, so now you protest. Somebody made a mistake. They should be fired, make it right to the person who was the injustice, make it right. But then why does this fixture in the community that I'm sure people love to go to, and it's a great place to, people go there, now all of a sudden you're going to try to shut them down, or it just gives you the opportunity to basically extort them and make crazy demands. It's just ridiculous, because that's what's going on now. So, moving on, let's see if we can find let's see, how do we go back? There we go. There we go. If you have a different, remember, folks, in this show, on this podcast, if when it's on YouTube, make a comment. If you have your own opinion on what you think happened there. You know, I have been witness to people getting thrown out of bars, and it's never pretty if it's caught on tape. Okay, it's just it never is. Oh, Kendall Jenner in a thong bikini is the energy we need for the summer 2021. I don't know about all that, but it's definitely some grade A clickbait. So let's see if they even, sometimes they don't even give you the photo, but I think this time we got lucky, folks at home. So it says here something about pairing a geometric thong bikini in a sheer patchwork crop top. Wow, that sounds very complicated for a bikini. Kendall nailed the cool girl beach look. All right, let's see. I see. And, very nice. Let's get into this. The hand placement is what's key here, because it kind of covers the butt, even though you can see most of her butt. Don't you think? I think that's on purpose. That's what's going on. So did this capture the moment? That was right. Did this capture the moment? Boom. I guess this seems like a weird. This looks like a catalog type shoot where she's modeling clothes and not necessarily like her normal posing for just thirst traps. But I guess, folks, we've talked about this on the show before in terms of clickbait and the trends that you see on the Yahoo headlines, and nothing's changed. It's still a lot of clickbait, but let's see, we might be able to find something else about. Oh, this is something that we can look from stubborn belly fat to exercising with achy knees. All your midlife fitness questions. I don't know if you're is 37 midlife? I don't think so. I think it's 40 and over is midlife. So if you're not 40 yet, I still think you're in the clear for being something else. But let's get into this, because this is something I can opine on, and it's just a great lesson for people to learn in 2020 about the culture, internet culture, social media culture that we have now. Is this Chrissy Teigen situation, right? So let's look. And she goes, the headline is, "I was a troll, full stop. I am sorry." Chrissy Teigen issues a lengthy apology. This is not the first apology. She said she's apologized a number of times, and she keeps getting called out by different people. So she's got to apologize all over again. So the world has a lot to say about cancel culture, whether or not it works, or even if it exists in the first place. So here's a quick wrap up. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be here on the article. So let's see what. Oftentimes, though, what some folks deem as cancellation is nothing more than the sharp, hot feeling of someone holding them accountable for the things they've done. And nobody likes that feeling. Famous or not, nobody likes it when someone holds a mirror up to their face and shows them all the wrong that they did and all the harm they've caused, and demands they acknowledge and take ownership of the wrong and harm and get on the path of some serious course correction. It happens to the best and the worst of us from time to time, though. And if you need proof of that, look no further than Chrissy Teigen. Oh, crap. For context, the model and cookbook author recently made her return to Twitter in the form of a lengthy apology posted on Medium after a nearly month-long break. Why the break, you ask? Well, so here's the thing. This Chrissy Teigen, married to John Legend. She was a model at one time. And I guess she's a social media influencer of sorts. And she's down, she's progressive. They're all down. She's woke. She would probably say she's woke. And so she's all into the whole cancellation and calling people out. Well, it's been discovered that she was somewhat of a bully and I guess, DMing or causing strife. Basically, just a troll, which is what she ends up admitting to. So, in her apology letter titled "Hi Again," it says, "As you know, a bunch of my old awful tweets resurfaced. I'm truly ashamed of them. Yada, 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 yada." The moral of the story, folks, is that I guess when Twitter came out 10 years ago or longer, and then people started really picking up, can you imagine if everything you said was recorded also, and then years later on, people just had a recording of everything you said? Well, that's kind of like what happens on Twitter. You're saying things, and it's there forever. And sometimes you can delete it, but then people screen capture it, you know? So I think this is really just coming around, like the whole, like, chickens coming home to roost situation, I guess is what they say. It's like nobody really had the foresight to think, man, this in 2021, everyone's gonna be woke, and this is gonna be, you know, and this lady, it's cost her a lot of money for this Chrissy Teigen. She's had to pull back on some projects that she had going on, and so it's come back. And that's the moral of the story, folks, when it comes to this whole cancel culture, is that no one's immune. If you participate in it, it's bad karma, it's bad juju. It's gonna come back and get you. So hopefully everyone learns a lesson from this Chrissy Teigen situation. You know, one of the other things that we've talked about one time, I learned this from Trump, is that you have two options. Here, she's mea culpa, I'm sorry, yada, yada, yada. Or the other option is, you know, you deny it. I didn't do that. I didn't send those texts. My phone was hacked. Those text messages have been altered. How do we know they haven't been altered? They put their own words in there to make it seem like I sent that. I did it. But I mean, I guess if it's true, you're worried that they may be able to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, and then you're really screwed. I don't know. The whole denial works, though. Trust me. Politicians do it all the time, and it works. Moving on. Kendall Jenner and Hailey Bieber went on vacation together, folks. Ooh. I'm sure there's plenty of bikini photos on here for the clickbait, but we're going to get past that. Let's move on. Oh, Jennifer Lopez, romantic video with Ben Affleck. No, let's pass that one too. Miley Cyrus, new mullet cut. See, this is what makes me mad too. How is Miley Cyrus and her mullet cut in the same sentence with Princess Diana? Are you kidding me? This goes to show on the internet you can say whatever you want, okay? And you'll get idiots like me clicking on it. We're not even going to read this article. I just want to see the haircut. Really? What does this have to do? Is there a photo of Princess Diana back in the day? Really? Who? No. She looks more, in this photo, she looks more like Rod Stewart than Princess Diana. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Moving on. What else do we have? This is like the third Kendall Jenner headline on Yahoo. So she must be really getting some clicks if they keep pushing her. Ben Affleck again. Jeez. Oh, here's a good story about the Dutch. I don't know. I think that's the Netherlands. Princess Amalia. She turned 18, and so since she's a princess and royalty in Europe, you know, history lesson, back in the day, they had kings and queens and monarchies, right? So this kind of thing still carries on. This girl gets a almost $2 million annual allowance from the state for being a monarch. And so she turned it away. She's like, I don't want that money. You know, it just goes to, so people are like, well, that's good of her. And it is. But it just goes to show you the type of, like, she doesn't need the money. Everything is paid for in her life. You know, when you have everything, you don't need money because everything's just there. Now, when you're dirt broke and have nothing, yeah, you get the money because then now you got to buy all these things. But if you already have all the things, you don't need the money in most cases. So, anyways, we're going to take a break because my contractor is using a vacuum and it's really loud. But when we get back, we will come back with some more. We're gonna do a Huffington Post woke moment. Get into that because that's always fun. Till then, stick with us, Jamin's Daily. And we're back from the break, folks. Let's get back into our Yahoo headlines before we get into a Huffington Post woke moment. But even before that, let's mention our sponsor, Sage Choice Insurance Agency, your local full service independent insurance agency. We help you with your auto insurance, homeowners insurance, business, wind, storm, flood, others. Like the list goes on and on. We're appointed with dozens of companies. Give us a call, 361-400-2411. You can go to quotefromjamin.com. Awesome online form, gives us information, safe and secure, gives us the info we need to get started on saving you money, folks. Moving on, it says here, golfer shares vaccine regret after tests cost him $1.7 million. You know, this is assuming that if he had received the vaccine, that he would not have fallen ill with COVID. You know, I don't know. This guy's super rich. $1.7 million is a lot of money, but he's young. This is like $1.7 million out of the 50 or 60 he's gonna make in his career if he plays another 10 years. So, you know, I don't know. Very few people feel sorry for him because, you know, sometimes when you take a stand, on principle, it's going to cost you, folks, or else there's no reason to make a stand. You're not really making a stand if it's not costing you something. You're not doing anything then. You're just going with everyone else. You know, that's what's part of being a rebel is, you got to take some arrows, all right? When you go along with everybody else, the thought process is, you get to avoid all that. But, when you blaze your own trail, it's kind of rocky. This guy just lost $1.7 million. Let's look and let's see what this, it cost him $1.7 million, but how much does this guy, is he worth? Wrong. Oh, man, it doesn't show it. What's this dude's name? Let's click it. We're going to look up his celebrity net worth, John Ram. And the way this was, normally I would, search on Google, but let's see what Yahoo's going to, John Ram. What the heck? Net worth 2020. Let's see. Not even up to date. 13 million bucks. All right. This dude was worth 13 million bucks last year. He's played in a number of tournaments since then and made money. So, sometimes it's easier for certain people to take a stand even when you get the arrows, it's like, this guy's literally going to have the kind of FU money that shields him from these kinds of losses. Oh, let's try to get back. Here we go. Oh, technical difficulty, folks. You know what? What I'm just realizing is I was relying on that Yahoo always being there to get me back. Now it's not there. I can't get back to anywhere that is worthwhile. You know what we can do? Like, we'll do a search for Huffington Post, and we'll get there through the search. The Huffington Post. Let's check it out. Let's see if we can find some hilarious headline. Let's interact. So here in Huffington Post, it's still not coming in well, but it's a progressive groups press Breyer retire. It's time for Justice Stephen Breyer to announce his intent to retire from the Supreme Court. And they need the successor without delay and fulfill his pledge to put the first black woman on the Supreme Court. That's how they're going to get this Breyer guy. They're going to be like, listen, if you retire, you can then take credit for being the cause for the first black woman Supreme Court justice. And she will be celebrated. Unlike, what's his name? There's a black man who's on the Supreme Court justice right now. And progressive hate him. But, it is what it is. So back on Yahoo, let's see what's going on here. Co-parenting exes still have an adorable relationship. Oh, co-parenting goals. That's good. It's good for the kids. Be nice to each other. Let's see. Fans call out Leanne Rimes and Brandy Glanville on Instagram after seeing family photo. Okay. Let's see here. Kevin Hart responds to backlash over cancel culture comments. Joke's on you. Good, Kevin. Kevin Hart's trying to stick up for himself and speak out against cancel culture. So good for him. The thing is, Kevin Hart's made it. Like, nobody's immune to cancel culture, but if there is anyone who can fight it the most, Kevin Hart's in that group. So we'll see. But, be careful. Any moment, some skeleton's going to come falling out of the closet now. It could happen. So let's pray. Let's pray for Kevin Hart. Hope that he doesn't get canceled. Oh, here's another thing about the cancel PC woke stuff is I'm listening. It says Lin-Manuel Miranda. He releases a statement amid In the Heights colorism. So this guy wrote a musical, and it's been turned into a live action movie, and it's about like the Bronx, and it's supposed to be about people in that culture, in that setting, in environment. And so, yes, the thing about what is ridiculous nowadays is that from the beginning of time, when you watch a movie, everything is supposed to be heightened. When you watch a movie, it's not supposed to be reality TV so that everything is supposed to be as though depicted in reality. Everyone, no one, for a long time, everyone knew that. So certain attributes, and you can say stereotypes, can be highlighted sometimes. But is that such a terrible thing? I mean, I don't know. Apparently, in 2021, it is. All right. So this guy who wrote this, this was made like in 2013, 2014. Look at this. They're using, terms such as Afro-Latinx presence. Early on in our podcast, we talked about the disdain for Latinx as a word being used. Anyways, he's crying. He's I'm sorry. He's profusely apologizing, I guess. With that kind of mentality, shouldn't like Medea, Tyler Perry, shouldn't he be apologizing? Because his character and the interactions, it's completely, the comedy is based off of stereotypes that people see and relate to, and in certain ways know are true, and so it's funny. I maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, folks. If I am, you can send me an email at jaminsdaily@gmail.com. You can like, share, comment on Facebook, YouTube, number of ways, guys. So do that. I would appreciate it. Offended Aaron Rodgers sends not so subtle jabs to Green Bay Packers amid riff. The GM, the general manager, said it best in that. Unfortunately, what's going on here, and this could be part of Aaron Rodgers' plan all along, because in the grand scheme of things, Green Bay is a small market. He probably has more fans nationally than he does in Green Bay at this point. So he can go somewhere else, and he never have to go back to Green Bay hardly at all. And half of the fan base is gonna hate him. Maybe more than half. 70% of the fan base is gonna hate him. And if he's able to get to LA or somewhere else, he's okay with that. I think that's what's going on, because the general manager said this whole situation and the way he's playing it, whether he's right or wrong, is alienating fans, and you don't want to do that. Moving on. Here's our favorite thirst trap, Elizabeth Hurley. She serves total body looks in a new Instagram bikini post. We talked about how she's one of the favorites. Her, Salma Hayek, Kendall Jenner. There's a list of about maybe a dozen. They throw in a few new ones here and there. But Elizabeth Hurley, very prolific on Yahoo headlines. And it's genius, too, because she owns... That's one thing. She must have some kind of financial agreement in this as well, too, because she owns like a bikini company. And lo and behold, she's in a bunch of bikini photos on Yahoo, and then they're advertising on it every time too. So I don't know exactly how that works, but Yahoo doesn't put it on her for free, unless the clickbait could be that great. The clickbait is that great that it's working out for everybody. Princess Diana's voice, her voice coach, promised he wouldn't write a book until she had a voice coach. I didn't know she was a singer. Maybe. Kim Kardashian reveals heartwarming gifts she's making daughter North birthday. Okay. Here's another thing. So you see this. This is what's inside. I'd love to see the data and the matrix on this. So you have this. Kim Kardashian reveals heartwarming gift she's making daughter North birthday. Yada yada yada. Right. And it's them. Oh, how cute. And then so that's a certain amount of, that's a headline that could be clicked. As opposed to Kim Kardashian wearing thong bikini laid out in Cabo, yada, yada, yada. And then the click numbers on that. It's because I think the demographics of people who are surfing the internet is probably got to be 50-50, maybe more, 52 women, 48 men. I don't know. So 80% of the clicks on here are female, and then the other headline would be 80 male. I don't know. I'm kind of, now that we're doing these headlines and I'm looking at it this way, I'm kind of intrigued. I'm going to try to look into this. Getting a phone call from a number don't really recognize. We're gonna stop, guys. We'll be right back. Or no, we'll just pause it. Okay, I answered the phone and nobody was there. Oh, here's something that you hate to see. Adults fighting at an Eastern Kentucky Little League game. Charges possible. And that's when we have little boys who are going to soon here be, at the right age to start getting into organized sports. And one of the reasons why I've never liked organized sports, and one reason also because we didn't play a lot. I think we played soccer for maybe a year or two. And then I played perhaps flag football in grade school. And then that was it. I didn't do any park and rec. I didn't play organized basketball until the 7th grade. And you see, when you go to these little league games, you go to these youth sports, there's always annoying parents. It's so cringe. I hate it. Because also, when you go to a varsity sporting event, there's enough people in the state. The venue is not only big enough where you can get away from it. But when you go to these smaller youth sport things and you're just standing, you can't get away from these people. You have to listen the entire time. And this is why there's always fights, because there's always somebody yelling, saying things, and then there's another person who doesn't like it, and then there's fisticuffs going on. It's going on. It's ridiculous. There should be a bill. I'm going to send an email to my congressman saying, if you are charged with some type of assault, disorderly conduct in a little league setting, a sporting setting, they should enhance the charges. I think that would be worthy. I could support that. Here's another. Lin-Manuel Miranda apologizes for falling short on Afro-Latina representation. See? It's another headline on the same thing. Pink Floyd's Roger Waters says F you to Zuckerberg, turns down Facebook's huge yeah. See, Roger Waters has got F you money too, though. He doesn't need Facebook money because he's filthy rich. But good for him, he's standing on principle. So like I said, sometimes the principle is going to cost you something. It costs him a huge amount of money, but when you got a crap load of money, it's kind of easy to say no to that crap load of money. J-Lo and Ben Affleck were caught fully making out at a party. I'm not even going to hate. Can you imagine? These people are 50 years old, and they're making out, because they got this fresh, they've rekindled an old flame, and now they're making out. Can't even hate. Good for them. Oh, here's Hilaria Baldwin. Her name is Hillary, but she's going by Hilaria. And she got called out because she was basically trying to present herself as being, I guess, Latina, when she's really not. She just lived in Spain or something like that. And so now she's doing a podcast with her famous husband, Alec. Here's to see what their downloads look like. And she goes, that they're constantly evolving and wanting to get it right. I swear to you, those words came from a crisis PR firm that gave them, talking points. Comment I'm going to make, which is stating the obvious. Sometimes we're not supposed to, but I feel like I should because it's on the headline. So something about Kourtney Kardashian's boyfriends, whatever, who cares? But look at their faces. Kourtney, I think out of all out of all of them, maybe, but no, because I don't know if Kendall, Kylie maybe has had the most. But second, or maybe first, is what's this other one's name? Chloe. If you watch the reality show from in the beginning, from like 2012, and you look at her now, she's a completely different person, unrecognizable. All the amount of plastic surgery. Oh, Madison LaCroix goes Instagram official with new mystery BF. Who is this guy? He's a mystery. Good for him. He's on, the front page of Yahoo. Oh, Spotify makes popular Call Her Daddy podcast an exclusive. Ooh. Goals, bro. That's the goal. I want to be exclusive. Actually, I don't. I want to be out for the public. I'm the people's champ, folks. We don't want to be exclusive. I want everybody to watch this show. I don't have to pay for it. Just trying to make money off of it in other ways. There's nothing on here, guys. we're gonna finish up this podcast. This episode, I don't know. These just need to be more headlines. Well, folks, you know what? I'm gonna leave this one like at 15 minutes because we're at what? Where are we? 25. I think we can do 50. I think I can get it to fit 14 to 15 to 16 depending on my outro here. So that's what we're gonna do. Guys, thanks for joining me today on another episode of Yahoo Headlines. What I've learned again, this whole podcast journey, what I've realized is everybody wants to be on a podcast, but few have time to be on it, is what I've really has come across to me, because I have so many people who say yes, yeah, well, let's do it, and then they're not able to. And I don't know, because people are kind, they say yes to things, but then maybe they don't really want to, so they find a way out. But you should just say no. But it's hard, and I realize one of the things I realize is you watch somebody like Joe Rogan, right? His guests are these highly accomplished. These are people who make their own schedule, so they can just show up. Whereas my guests, they have their day jobs and then families. It's hard to get away, so it's a little different. But we're gonna try. I think I have a new strategy where I'm gonna try to find several recurring guests to make a commitment. That's one, like Seth, but add a couple more. And so that always helps with the podcast, the flow of things. I don't know. Could be wrong. But just giving you a heads up on what's going on the program, on the podcast. Can't thank you enough for joining us once again. Our sponsor is Sage Choice Insurance Agency. You can reach him at 361-400-2411. Go to quotefromjamin.com. Give us some info. Safe and secure. We'll get in touch with you. Likely save you money. Until then, till the next time, I'm your host, Jamin. Stay with us because the best is yet to come.